The corporate watchdog is warning Australians who use offshore prediction markets that they're likely to lose money without consumer protections. Prediction markets, which are illegal in Australia, allow users to place money on yes or no questions covering a vast range of topics from wars to pop culture. With more, I'm joined by ASIC Commissioner Alan Kirkland. Alan Kirkland, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Now, we explained a little bit there, but can you just tell us a bit more about what exactly these prediction markets are?
Well, these are markets that allow you to bet on a kind of binary outcome. So an event will happen or it won't happen. And to give you an example of some of the events we see based in Australia that you can bet on overseas markets, they include things like the outcome of RBA rate decisions. But they are binary in the sense that there are two possible outcomes. Either the event happens and you win, or the event doesn't and you lose all of your money. And that's why we're really out warning people, because these are sometimes promoted as being like investments because they do operate kind of like markets, but in reality, they're much more akin to gambling than traditional investments.
Yeah, so akin to gambling, we see them marketed heavily on social media, even at the recent World Cup. Why are they considered different to gambling?
Well, I think they operate in a slightly different way to traditional gambling products. So if you bet through a bookmaker, you're essentially betting against the house. So they set the odds, you go in and place a bet based on those odds. In prediction markets, you're essentially betting in a market where the probability is set by the proportion of other people that want to bet on the opposite outcome to you. So I guess the odds are set in a slightly different way, but otherwise, they're pretty much the same as gambling. As I said, you're betting on whether something will happen or not. And one of the other risks with these markets is what you don't know is how much information the other people who are betting on the opposite outcome might have. So they might have inside information. If it's a sporting event, they might have particular insights into a sports person or team. If it's a political event, they might have access to particular inside polling information. As an individual Australian placing a bet on one of those overseas markets, you don't know about those advantages that other people have, and so you're often at a disadvantage.
Yeah, so they're illegal in Australia, but Australians can use them and they can even bet on outcomes here in Australia, such as the RBA interest rate hikes or otherwise. These concerns about what Australians are not protected from, can you spell out for us a little bit more about what they are not protected from in using these markets?
Well, if you engage with the market in Australia as an individual or retail investor, there are a range of protections that you get. So we've got a really good complaints framework in Australia that says a firm's got to have an internal complaints process. So if something goes wrong, you can complain to them. If you're not happy, you can go to an external body. We've got rules over client money. So if they're handling money that you put in, it's got to be stored in a particular way. So that's protected if something goes wrong. And there are a range of other protections as well, and none of those apply to offshore markets because they are protections that have been crafted to apply to markets that are licensed to operate in Australia. And at this stage, there are no businesses that have got a licence to operate a predictions market in Australia. So if you are engaging in those markets, it's going to be a market offshore without those protections.
So, yeah, the warning from ASIC, how are you getting that out so it can be heard?
So we've published some new information on the ASIC Money Smart website. This is a government website that's full of information that you can trust about how to make money decisions, particularly decisions about investing your money. So this steps through what prediction markets are, some of the common risks in engaging in those offshore prediction markets, and how to go about engaging and investing safely. But in particular, we're really saying to people, think about this as gambling, don't think about it as an investment, and don't get caught up in the hype that you might see online that's really spruiking these types of markets.
Yeah, and I guess it really exposed to that insider trading there. Do you think regulated versions of these markets will be allowed in Australia, and should they be?
Well, if we were to receive an application from somebody wanting to operate a prediction market in Australia, we would determine that application, yes or no, under the law. But that's not the reality now. Nobody has submitted an application for ASIC, and that means that if you're engaging in these markets now, it will be an offshore market without those protections. So that's a really important warning to Australians. Be really cautious about engaging in these markets because they come with significant risks.
ASIC Commissioner Alan Kirkland, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Gemma.